So to give you perspective, Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath came out September 7th, 1984. And King Diamond's Abigail came out October 21st, 1987, just in time for Halloween. So what does that, Levi? That's
My first Halloween.
Not a 13 year, that's 3 years.
Oh, that would have been baby Tommy's first Halloween.
13 years from...
Was that Abigail? Abigail came out in 87, October. I was born in May of 87. So
and I thought you were talking about your son.
No. This baby Tommy.
He was born in like the 2010s or something.
Yeah, he's 2012.
Yeah, that would be your first Halloween. I forget your
Halloween.
Join the debate, bring your own cup. Hard rockin' kings with a full plate. Heels and quads, you can't run late.
Before we get into it, the Merciful Fate album is it's just an album, you know. I mean, it has its themes and things that King Diamond sings about, and that's just how it is. It's just very like,
it's more of a straightforward metal
record. Yeah, exactly. King Diamond's Abigail, however, is a concept album, and I have the plot right here in front of me. And I can read that because the album, as the track listing goes, is the story that it tells.
And a concept record, for those of you who don't know what a concept record is, it's an album that tells a story track by track, like a movie would. It's a progression of a story by each song.
It's a screenplay.
Yes.
It's a musical screenplay.
Yes.
Okay, so Abigail. Abigail tells the story of a young couple, Miriam Natias and Jonathan LaFay, who move into an old mansion that LaFay inherited. This is Wikipedia, straight from the source.
Shout out to Wikipedia.
If you want to sponsor the show. It takes place in the summer of 1845. Upon their arrival, they are warned by 7 horsemen not to move into the house because if they do, 18 will become 9. They do not heed the warning and proceed to move into the mansion.
Because why would you heed the warning?
Because that's horror, man.
Yeah.
You don't listen to the warning.
Yeah, you're crazy.
During their first night, Jonathan meets with Count de LaFay, the family ghost, who is a deceased relative in the song, The Family Ghost. A rival family ghost. The ghost shows him a casket in which a corpse of a stillborn child, Abigail, rests. The ghost informs him that Miriam is carrying the spirit of Abigail, that the child will soon be reborn. He insists that Jonathan must kill Miriam at once to prevent the rebirth. The narration then relates the story of what happened to the Count and his wife on July 7th, the 7th of July, 1777. The Count had discovered his wife had been unfaithful to him and was pregnant with an illegitimate child. Enraged, he threw the Countess down the stairs, breaking her neck and causing the child to be stillborn. The Count had the body of the Countess cremated and the stillborn fetus he named Abigail and had mummified and laid to rest in a sarcophagus, the Count having an inexplicable urge to preserve Abigail for the future. We got 3 more paragraphs here. So. The narration then returns to the summer of 1845, during which Jonathan and Miriam are beset by a range of omens. The song
Omens.
Omens, yeah. The church bell rings despite nobody being inside to ring it. Flowers die, unwholesome stenches fill the house, and the dining room table is discovered set for 3.
Sounds like my house with 3 boys.
Maybe you're living. Hey, maybe it's the house.
Maybe I'm suffering from the omens right now.
You might. I think you are actually. The 3 boys. In one incident, an empty cradle is discovered by Jonathan swaying in the air, with both him and Miriam insisting that they didn't bring it with them. The next day, Miriam is clearly pregnant and the fetus develops quickly. Jonathan realizes that the family ghost was speaking the truth. God, my fucking computer's so bright. The fatal crisis begins when Jonathan accuses Abigail of possessing Miriam, and Abigail, through Miriam, admits it. Jonathan is terrified and considers getting a priest to exorcise Miriam. Miriam, however, exercising a moment of control, urges him to cast her down the stairs to kill her, just as the Count had slain the Countess and Abigail's original incarnation. Therefore, Jonathan pretends to give in to Abigail's demands and suggests to Abigail, once she regains control of Miriam, that she should come down to the family crypt so she can be reborn where she died. However, as the couple stands at the top of the stairs, Jonathan is distracted and the possessed Miriam pushes Jonathan down the stairs. Shit's popping off.
Shit's going down.
It's going down the stairs. These stairs are just fucked, man. Everybody goes down them. Miriam gives birth to Abigail, but dies shortly afterwards, her last sight being of Abigail's yellow eyes. Supposedly, her ghost can be heard screaming on the stairs in July every after. The 7 horsemen arrive at the mansion and discover the baby Abigail in the sarcophagus, eating something too horrifying for the narrator to mention, though the fact that it is found in the sarcophagus suggests that Abigail is eating her own previous body. Appalled, they take her away to bury her in a hidden chapel in the forest with 7 silver spikes driven through her body, a burial heard as the intro to the album, in the hope that this will prevent a further resurrection. That's it. That's the story of Abigail and the house and the stairs that everybody falls down.
I really want to believe that King wrote that Wikipedia.
I hope he did. I
He's
really
just
hope
like,
he did. He's like, in the narration then relies the story. It's crazy.
I love it. Jesus
So,
Christ. I wish I would have
guess
proofread my notes because I already see like 3 fucking autocorrects that shouldn't be there.
autocorrect from what? Like the story?
My
here?
notes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All
Mine
right.
are all fucked up.
I'll
so
figure
you're
it
good.
out.
I wrote one of them actually while I was driving down the highway today. It was really hard to do. So
That sounds safe.
it was not safe, and nobody should try that at home. or
Don't
in
write
their
and
car.
drive.
Yeah. So it was to the side and it's scribbly. So that's all.
Mm.
I wasn't.
You were just like, I need to write this real quick before I forget.
I went left to center at one point, and then I put the notebook down. I was like, I'm
You're like,
not
all right,
doing
no,
this. I can't do
It's
this.
not safe.
I need to be safe. So, anyways, how do you want to do this though? Because the first track on Break the Oath is a song. The first track on Abigail is an intro.
We
just give it the win.
gotta do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I will start. I'm gonna go Fate, King Diamond
Yeah.
for chronological. So, A Dangerous Meeting is the first track on Don't Break the Oath. I have Heartbeat, rhythm section to open it. Hank Sherman's big on riffs. King trading back and forth between frontal vocals and falsetto. Frontal being like from your front, the front of your face. Cool solo into a machine gun riff. Nice scream. Cool breakdown with heavy drums, and then the ominous bell.
Mm-hmm.
Ominous. Ambiance.
It pops up in here.
A lot.
It pops up.
But yeah, that's all I have for notes on that one.
Okay.
It's a cool song.
Yeah. And then Funeral from Abigail.
Oh shit!
Do you have? I didn't really write shit for that, so I'll take yours.
It's Abigail's eulogy, which my autocorrect turned into enology.
Oh, nice. The study of Eno.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the study of emo. Just creepy, but a perfect thing to open a metal opera.
You know what? That is the perfect way to describe Abigail. As a metal opera.
It's a metal opera. Obviously, Dangerous Meeting takes this for me because it's an actual song. Not that, Arrival's cool or Funeral's cool because it's kind of opening up the story, but you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And
and
then,
you compare it to a song.
Right. An
really,
actual song. It's not fair. Which Don't Break the Oath has an instrumental later on. And it's kind of the same.
Yes.
The same thing.
Exactly. So A Dangerous Meeting would have took the win for me regardless, because this is one Mercyful Fate, King Diamond song that this one I always remember.
It's one of the most popular ones.
It is one of the most popular songs, and it's not on every set list, which is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
As far I know, he plays as King Diamond. He plays Mercyful Fate stuff, but this isn't one of them. It's usually Melissa and the Sabbath. The Sabbath.
Come to the Sabbath.
Come to the Sabbath. Come to Black. Not to be confused with Come to the Black Sabbath.
Right.
Because
that'd be two different things.
You could get confused with
you.
That.
You would get confused.
A Dangerous Meeting starts off with a head-bobbing riff and leads into King's insane falsetto. The chorus changes the vibe, but then picks up with the staccato chugs.
Mm-hmm.
Song goes everywhere with verses, bridges, choruses, and breakdown and outro. I love the when it solos the guitar. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
That is the it's crazy, dude.
It's so cool though.
But this is the one we talked about it before, that like this song, I think it was my introduction to King Diamond probably, but that like his regular singing, which that's not even his regular, like he has so many different
his
ways
range is
he's
all
it's
over
always
the place.
different, especially in Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
But that it always makes me smile. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I hear that, I laugh.
It's different. It really is.
It's different, but it's not bad. It's just like, because some people fucking hate it, and that's why they don't listen to King Diamond, because they're like, it's way too gimmicky.
The fact is, he does it's in tune at all times.
Yeah. Oh, it's
and a lot of people when they sing falsetto, like I do it sometimes when I know I'm coming to a note that I know I can't hit. So I automatically drop to the falsetto because I'm like, this is the only way I'm even going to get close.
Yeah.
And I've been called out for it before. And I'm just like, I'm honest. I'm like, hey, yeah, I know I can't full voice that note. So I got to drop down and go into falsetto.
It's just crazy because he's hitting his falsetto. He's probably like 2 octaves over the key they're in. You know, he's probably, because if you think 1 up, I think of it on a guitar, that's 2 strings or a string over or 12 frets up or whatever. Like he's probably about 2 octaves ahead when he hits that falsetto. But anyway,
but he's in the right key.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just his octave his range is higher than the actual music.
Funeral, same as you. Mine just says intro, creepy sounds, the voice, all that. It's like you said, it's the ideology or whatever of Abigail. Ideology. What is it? What was it?
The Urology.
Enology. Okay. So anyways, a Dangerous
Meeting. It's gotta
Meeting.
be an actual word because they auto-corrected it.
Yeah. A Dangerous Meeting would have won regardless.
Yeah.
I don't think it really could have went up again. Like even against like a Melissa or something, that would be a little tougher, but I love a Dangerous Meeting.
Yeah, I like it too. It's really good.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
A Dangerous Meeting.
There's a lot of cool song titles on these records, both of them. So second I have, so Dangerous Meeting. Did you mark it already?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second track on Don't Break the Oath, Nightmare. Excellent bass riff to open, heavy chug-a-lug. We go right to falsetto on this one. A bit of a trade, but not as much as the first track, A Dangerous Meeting. He goes frontal to falsetto a lot. Screamer of a solo, Hank Sherman can be added to the list of unsung guitar heroes because that seems to be the trend on our
he can go with the dude from last week. Who was Campbell. That? Vivian Campbell.
Yeah. Hey, get in line, boys. You're all getting your fucking just due now.
Yeah.
Church choir sound with the King's, I mean, his fucking, it's layered tracks of his vocals and it's insane. I counted it and it sounds like it's 4 different tracks of vocals on the backing tracks.
Really?
Yeah. King is truly one of a kind here. Melodic solo, tons of drum rolls.
Yeah.
Bass way more prevalent on Mercyful Fate than King Diamond. King Diamond definitely likes to laugh.
He does.
The creepy laughs.
He is a fan of the Halloween soundtrack laughs.
Then what is it? Arrival?
Arrival.
Right? Yes. Opens like a Trans-Siberian Orchestra commercial you would see on TV. Melody is killer. Obviously, it tells you about that it's taking place in 1845. Falsetto almost plays like a lead guitar on this track. Awesome solo, or should I say solos, by Andy LaRock. Jonathan said, "Get out of my way," and then, "I don't believe a word you say." I love that fucking line. And then he does it as the song progresses. He does it a different way each time. But yeah, that's my notes.
All right. Nightmare. The rock and roll riff to open leads to that thrash and punk kind of sounding thing they got going. Both of these albums are very like, it's not thrash because it's just not thrash, but it's those faster like punk derivative and speed and thrashy kind of riffs, and it's interesting because it's its own thing for sure. It's
King and Mercyful Fate both. It's hard to put them in a category.
Yes, it is. I still would consider it because it is its own sound. And a lot of people, it's new wave of 80s British heavy metal, but it's not all British. So
right.
This is Danish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
not
what
to
I
be
mean.
Confused with
like,
the cheese Danish.
Not to be confused with the cheese Danish, but it's just a new wave of 80s heavy metal.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I would put this.
It's definitely something that thrash and like speed metal and those kind of genres would definitely have heavy influence from. Yeah. But like even like Metallica early on, I mean, they were heavily influenced by Misfits, that, horror punk, whatever.
And King.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Mercyful Fate played with Metallica
I think at the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, and Danzig was there too.
Yeah. Rock and roll riff to open leads to that thrashy punk sound. This is definitely the one I was writing when I was driving. Early breakdown after the first few verses and chorus. Love the keys and the guitar combo during the middle song bridge break. Different riffs close the song as well. Yeah, I was driving. That's a common thing you'll see here too, is like the riffs would change a lot. Like, and they were, that's why I say breakdown a lot too, because they're kind of broken down versions or modified versions of what the original riff would be. So I really like what the guitarist did with that, Andy LaRock. And Andy LaRock, yeah, he's cool as shit. Wait, he's
Hank Sherman.
Hank Sherman is on Mercyful Fate.
Yeah.
Same thing with Andy LaRock on.
They're very
Abigail.
similar.
They are. And I think that's probably why that's why he won the audition, or however they did it.
Yeah.
Arrival. The song opens up with a jam that has just the right scale to rock and make you feel the arrival to the house. King tells the story in falsettos as normal. Thrashy riffs and drums, mid-song riff change with the audible bass following the notes, like that. A breakdown, which is an early version of the modern ones where it's more of a slowed down halftime kind of version. I don't think they go halftime, but it's cut the time a little bit and just slows it down, and with the broken up riff. And then lots of soloing in the song, including at its ending, which is also a common concept for both of these albums. Sometimes a lot of times the solo ends the song, or at least right up to that ending point. So yeah, this is it's a tougher one. I really like Arrival.
I was gonna say I'm giving it to Arrival.
Okay, I like Arrival a lot.
I like them both, but
yes,
yeah, there's something different. I mean, obviously they're different records, but there's just something different when it comes to Arrival, and it feels like it's more heavy, I guess.
It is
on this record
heavy.
On Abigail, where Don't Break the Oath, it's just full-blown metal, like pretty much all the way through. There's one song I think I compared more to rock.
They're definitely, Mercyful Fate's got a lot more of those earlier 80s, and it's mid 80s at that point, but the rocky kind of elements.
Yeah.
Versus like, because people are still pulling from Zeppelin and Sabbath at that point.
At this time, but I'm good with Arrival.
Arrival's good.
So we're 1-1.
Yes, sir.
Desecration of Souls. This one's a little strange. Crunchy guitar to open, and then King's voice here. where he's like, it's like a mix of Gene Simmons and Lemmy. That's the vibe I got from it.
And again, that's just the many different ways he sings,
Yeah.
you know?
And then that tapping guitar sound, it sounds like the opening to Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You. And it's like, maybe the most straightforward song after the strange intro. Not as much falsetto, and when there is, it's mostly in the backing vocals. Love the squeal right before the solo. Maybe the most rock song. Here it is. I knew it was coming up. Love the bass under the second part of the solo. And then Mansion in Darkness. Excellent drumming. Way he does that. Four vocals on falsetto screams. I asked the question and then I counted later on. Terrific guitar work again. Gives you an audio tour of the house and the surrounding area, or I guess you could call it the grounds.
That's a great statement.
Yeah, gives you a feeling that you are there with them.
Yeah, it really sets the vibe. Yeah,
Yep.
That's good. That's good notes. That's good shit. Not to be confused with this. Beaut.
It sounds like you're blowing up a balloon.
It was trying to falsetto, I think. Desecration of Souls, the evil sound for the open, I believe, thanks to a tritone as well when the guitars play, because, and I've learned a lot of music stuff over the years, but the tritone, I know what it is. I know what it sounds like, but I don't know
how to explain it.
I can't recall how to explain it. Yeah. And it's really stupid because it's really easy to explain, but I don't remember in this very moment. My brain's kind of fried at this
We're
point.
getting old, man.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. We had that conversation earlier.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. The thrash rock riffs begin. More so new wave of 80s metal riffs / rock, Maiden and Priest sounding. Face melting solo, a short one over a progressed version of the original riff. The song slows and lets Hank or Michael solo. I can't tell. And one more chorus than the outro. And then A Mansion in Darkness, ear notes because they were perfect. And then thrashy paced 80s melodic riffs intro. I'm always saying intro. I don't know why I say that, but it's
I say
the
intro
whole
a lot
fucking
too.
song.
Yeah.
Chorus that has that 80s classic lick, chords strummed. Chorus has that 80s classic lick, chords strummed, and two notes, I believe. Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The chorus has that classic 80s lick where the chords are strummed, and then there's like that diminished banner. Yeah, that's like a broken chord that they strum over that to give it that evil feel again.
Right.
Very
common in metal.
Yes, very common in metal, especially modern. That's a very big thing. Except it's a very fast jam with evolving riffs. And fun fact, I didn't know on this album. I didn't know Mickey D was on this one until I had looked it up. Which that is really cool because I say something later in the album when I finally realized it or whatever. Because I looked at it, I was like, I should probably know. But because he plays fast with Motorhead, you know, that's fast rock. But this, I mean, he does his Motorhead thing, but he fits it in metallically just right, you know. It's like very metal Mickey D right here.
Yeah, Mickey D is on.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. He's on Abigail. He's on.
I think he's on them. Yeah.
And he's on Conspiracy. And then after he recorded Conspiracy, he left.
Yeah.
Then he came back to fill in on the next record. I think it was Spider's Lullaby. I think. But he was basically like, hey, we know you left the band to go play with Motorhead, but like, can you come back and do this album with us real quick? I'm pretty sure.
He did Fatal Portrait, Abigail, them. See, on them, I thought that was just, I didn't know if that was just a one-off. I never really looked it up, but I knew he was on them and then Conspiracy. And then it says he was on In Concert 87, Abigail. It doesn't say Spider's Lullaby.
He's on another record. Maybe it was Conspiracy that he had already left. Because I know Conspiracy has Sleepless Nights and he's not in the video. So maybe that's what it was.
Maybe that's what it is. So who takes over after him?
I think it's a blonde guy.
Snowy Shaw was on the Eye.
Okay, the Eye is after Conspiracy, not Spider's Lullaby.
Yeah. I want to see this Spider's Lullaby. What the fuck? It's taking me all over the place. Never mind.
Get out, get out, get out.
It's going all over the place. Come on, go back.
So Mansion in the Darkness and
Desecration of Souls. I need to listen to the first two riffs in my ear real quick.
Okay.
And then I can
I'll let you do that, and then we'll decide a winner.
Make my and then make my deciding factor. Mansion in Darkness. Let's see. Yeah, see, I remember I really liked the Mansion. I really liked the Mansion in Darkness, but I know I like Desecration of Souls because I remember that.
Yeah,
that's a cool. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
This is really tough because
if I'm not overthinking it though, I'm going with Mansion.
Yeah, because I could sit here and overthink it.
I'll overthink it, so I'm going with my gut.
Yes.
If you want to go opposite, we can figure it out in the end.
No, I think I'm good with a Mansion in Darkness to make it easier on us.
Okay.
And Desecration of Souls is awesome.
And that goes with all of these that we're doing. Like even with Maiden and Priest, it felt like we were just, burying Priest, but we're not. I mean, we wouldn't have even put the record on there.
We wouldn't have listened to it if we didn't like it. Exactly.
Yeah.
But a Mansion, I remember that's one in particular that I'm like, Mickey sounds great.
Yeah.
And Andy sounds great. And King always, it's just, and Timmy, So I'm good with a Mansion.
Okay.
I like that. A Mansion in Dock. I marked it.
Okay.
Huh?
Malt. How's that feel, baby? Night of the Unborn is next for Mercyful Fate. Holy shit, guitar opening melts your face. Sounds like a Eddie Van Halen riff from the first Van Halen record. More falsetto, of course. King's vocal range is insane. While it can make you chuckle sometimes, it's definitely a trademark and not used enough by others. The fact that he's still doing it flawlessly well into his 60s is crazy. Singing falsetto isn't as easy to do, especially for longer periods of time. There's that note that you were looking for. Song picks up for a nice shredding solo, great bass riff, and excellent drumming. Who is the drummer on Mercyful Fate again? I'm having a brain fart.
Let me bring her up. I got it. Kim Ruz.
Yes, Ruz. Yeah, he does a great job on this. Family Ghost. King's vocal is more audible in this track. Seems like in the first couple of tracks from the Abigail record, he was further back from the microphone, maybe. But here he's prominent.
This one I have a note about that, similar to yours.
Because like you said before we started, we were just kind of brainstorming. It's kind of hard to understand what he's saying unless you have the lyrics pulled up.
Yes.
Which I mean is a common thing with a lot of metal.
Yeah, it's pretty but especially when he hits falsetto, to me a lot of it's
hard
to
guitars are in your face, possibly the best produced track on the record. So much melody and break your neck, and he kind of growls, and then the laugh again. Abigail has been here for years, still born. So yeah, that's my notes.
So similar to, I'm glad you said something about it on Night of the Unborn. Mine's a little different. I sound a bit critical on it, but I'm not.
I like being critical though.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. Sick opening riff.
We couldn't do that good.
Yeah. Sick opening riff, fast new wave 80s metal, again, sped up Maiden. Awesome music, but King's vocals are a bit much here. King's vocals are a bit much here. Abrupt lead into the chorus. Bass lines are very audible here, and I love it because I'm a big fan of hearing bass in music. The band helps me. Yeah, the band helps me get through the overpowering King noises. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, his range, but this song is a major showcase of his voice, and that's okay. A bit much, but it works because it's King. So that's my main. This one is just, it seemed like he never let up. It was all over the place on this one, and it's not in a bad way,
right?
But it's a little too. It's just too much. If he would have thrown some singing in there, regular,
gotcha. I'm with you.
I would have been
100%.
You know,
100%.
The Family Ghost, another 80s thrashy lick to open the track. Waste no time getting us to a ghostly solo that then leads into another, at times, ominous sounding solo and backing riff that just evolves and sounds so cool. Song returns to the opening riff to close as King wails. So
I think we have a clear-cut winner here, folks.
Well, I really like Night of the Unborn's music. That's the thing, you know.
But you got to put it overall.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't want his voice is too much King to make me push it back.
How much more King could this be? And the answer is none. None more King.
That's true. I mean, it's very King. And then the Family Ghost, you know, you get the story that continues, and
it's the continuation of the story, and that in a way hurts this track by track because you get into the story.
Yes.
So I feel like
I'm a huge fan of concept albums. I think you've said it before too. Yeah.
And that's what makes this difficult. It's not that Don't Break the Oath is a bad record, because by no means, standalone, this is one of the most influential metal records ever. But I mean, I have to, and Family Ghost, I mean, that's on King's set at night after night.
Yeah.
Always. Go back and look, setlist.fm. Shout out if you want to sponsor the show. I love your fucking site.
Yeah, I'm always on that shit.
God, I fucking love it so much. But I just, overall, King's vocal on Family Ghost is, like I said, it's in the forefront. It's right there. It's in your face. It's not as falsetto-y, and it's not too much. It's not too much. It's a lot of singing. It's not just It's not a Night at the Opera.
Not that the falsetto is not singing, you know, but it's just like you want to hear the regular King.
King, if you ever hear this, we love you. We just
dude. It's just because he's totally listening, but it's hey, you know, it's just Night of the Unborn, you know, and not that his, if it was him doing it 3/4 of the song, it would have been okay, but you know, the whole 9 yards. A little rough.
Just a little much for you.
A little much. So I'm good with Family Ghost, if that's kind of where you're going with that.
That's where I'm at.
It's a really cool song.
I like the song. Yeah, it's one of my favorites on that record.
And so is Night of the Unborn. So
yeah. I mean, I like both. But, so next up, The Oath. I have
King Diamond is the more evolved version of Mercyful Fate.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
I mean, he does Fatal Portrait first and then Abigail, but you can see the progression.
Yes.
The Oath, ominous opening, makes you feel like you're in Dr. Frankenstein's lab. Sound effects, thunder and lightning adds to this one, which I'm not always a fan of sound effects.
Which song are you doing?
The Oath.
Oh, The Oath. Yeah.
I'm not usually a fan of sound effects on songs for the most part. Sometimes though it helps, like here it helps.
Yeah.
It adds to this one. Bells ring, rain, church organ plays as we await the musical storm as King starts a prayer. More laughter. Always important.
I gotta have the laughter.
And we pick it up. Excellent tempo and welcome back falsetto. King definitely carries this sound into his solo projects. A precursor to Abigail. That's in the notes for this one. Wish Timmy Hansen shined as much on Abigail as he does on this record. And then we get the 7th day of July, 1777. A real date on a tombstone a fan gave King a picture of while on tour, and he used it here. Also, Abigail was the name of that, whoever that tombstone belonged to's mother, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that's where that came from. Love the, excuse me. Love the acoustic intro, gives the track a different feeling, and then it starts to kick. Andy LaRocque, another underrated guitar player, add him to the list, seems to be the trend in this tournament. On the 7th day of July, Have that. I always have those long falsetto notes marked for some reason.
Because you have to. I mean, you're listening to the King, you have to know.
And
it.
I like to do it, so.
Okay. So the oath. I had to go to my back page to start that one. I had a lot more notes on that one. Sine waves, Sabbath bell, organs, reanimator. I put like the movie. I don't know why. It just reminded me of like all those sound effects were so like 80s horror movie.
Yeah.
And I love that. So,
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. Evil voice, laughing. Has that climbing feeling of tension for the verse riff.
Mhm.
Chorus is King making noises. Question mark. I don't know why I wrote that. Another song with many identities and evolutions. A bit on the longer side, could be a bit shorter. But I think that also is, the
Let's
intro
face
is like
it, none of these are ever going to be like mainstream radio hits.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, exactly. And that's just I don't even know why that was a critique. I think I just had to write something.
No,
but,
I mean, it's a good note though.
But it's
And
really just
it was a
the
longer
intro.
one.
Yeah, it's like 7 minutes, but so anyways, and then the 7th day of July, 1777, picked chord intro with the same string synths in the background, kind of playing off each other, leads into an absolute jam. The whammy pedal use is sweet. I love that. Really fits the vibe of the album in this song. Ripping solo as per usual of the King's music. Thick and quick paced song. And not like quick song, but just kind of, it's just bam, bam, bam. It's always
Keeps
going
hitting
in your
you.
face. Yeah. And that, I love the use of the whammy in that. I'm not like a guy who's like, oh my God, any kind of whammy I love, but that
it's cool
like
when you can pick it out of a song.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're like,
yes.
not like somebody who's doing it constantly.
Yeah.
And just like laying on it. But when, yeah. what? But when it's, over time and little bit here and there, you're like, oh, there it was.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I dig that.
And then, for those people, it becomes one of their signatures, but on this, for
Kirk
Andy, that's who it was that did it. It's not, Kirk Hammett. It's not like necessarily a signature of his,
No,
threw it in there and it went great.
It's very rare throughout the album, but I noticed it a couple of times.
Yeah, and it kind of goes with that synthy feel they get in some places. Because at first, when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh wow, that's it." I was like, "No, that's a whammy pedal."
Yeah,
just sitting, putting his foot down on it over and over. So, anyways, they're both cool songs. The Oath is one, for some reason, that's one I remember the title a lot.
Because it's Don't Break the Oath.
Because it's Don't Break the Oath, probably. But that's just why I remember the title.
The track, yeah.
The Oath, Don't Break It. What if it was called The Oath, Don't Break, Don't Break It?
If you were going to break it, don't.
As far as oaths go, don't break them. Yeah.
If you were thinking about breaking it, don't.
If you had any thought in your mind, it's kind of a tough one as well.
Yeah.
I really like the 7th day of July, 1777, but The Oath was one of the standouts on the album, although it was a bit long,
It was a bit long in the tooth.
It's a bit long in the tooth, yeah. So, I don't know. It's tough. The next one's a really tough one, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. What do you think? I could go Oath.
I know where I'm going with the next one, which sucks because I don't know. I just want it to be fair, so I gotta stop overthinking. I'm gonna give this one to The Oath.
I'm good with it because I think I want to just give one to Don't Break the Oath. Also, it's basically the title track, and
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot in a lot of these songs. There's just sometimes it's almost, again, too much going on, but not because they execute it properly. But I'm good with The Oath because it is definitely one of the standout tracks on the album.
Right. Okay. So
Gypsy.
The name for King's second skull after Melissa was stolen while Fate was on tour. Maybe my favorite track on this record. Everything just flows together nicely. The band is so tight and complements King's vocals perfectly. Listened on my headphones this week instead of on my normal big speakers that I like to listen to these albums on, mainly because everybody's home and King Diamond isn't welcomed here sometimes.
Yeah.
When my wife is home. I find myself headbanging to this more than other tracks on this and Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Omens. Drums. Nice little bass riff. Bass has been rather quiet so far on Abigail, but it's here. Another blistering solo in keyboards. This is another welcome difference and adds that ambiance. There's that word again. That the story is telling. Ambiance.
Is that your notes?
Yeah.
Okay. Gypsy, this is one that I'm almost like it's a single for me because I really remember that
it's like 4 minutes and 3 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, it's perfect
for radio, if
live set radio, all that stuff. Yeah. Love the riff. Glad this album has a single hit cut thing this late in the album. And I know there's not really any singles off of this album. 6 out of 9 songs is usually where an album can lose me, but Gypsy doesn't. Chorus riff is sweet too. The fuck does that say? or post whatever. I don't know. Sweet too. I don't know. Post or pre-post whatever it is. Chorus riff is sweet too. Pre-post or whatever it is, because there's the riffs are all over the place in the song. They get placed all over. Some songs are hard to identify, like Ronnie James Dio. Gypsy is an album favorite, also short, sweet, and to the point. Omens, I really like the groove metal riff. This is a groove metal riff. It's very Pantera like esque, and I'm not like a Pantera
guy. Rob Zombie even.
Yeah, totally. That like 90s was very groove metal, late 80s to 90s. Yeah. Thrash feel in the chorus strums, a great rival to Gypsy track versus track. Song gets some synth love for the bridge and to the solos. Verse riff reminds me of a Pantera riff.
Reminds me of Thunderkiss. That's what I was trying to think of.
It is so similar. And obviously pre-Pantera groove though.
Yeah.
Comparing it to a Pantera riff.
Not to be confused with Pantera's hair metal days.
I was going to say, this is not pre-Pantera, but it's pre-groove metal.
Right.
Pantera.
Pre-90s Pantera.
Yes, because it was groovy.
Pre-popular.
It was not Phil Anselmo. Yeah. Yeah. So what else was I going to say? And when describing groove metal, for those who don't know, groove is basically slowed down thrash, essentially, and more broken down, or like that kind of thing. Whereas thrash
groove metal to me is more like my speed. If I were to get in a mosh pit, it would be to
that. Totally. Yeah. I love it because it's a lot more,
because you're dancing more than you're like ready to fucking spinning hill kick somebody in the fucking throat.
Yeah, the head can bang to the count, whereas thrash is you're moving really quick.
Yeah.
So, and I love them all, but not to be confused with kill them all.
You would confuse them.
Because you would. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Love them all, kill them all.
I know my pick.
Man, so Omens is one of my more favorite songs on Abigail, but again, Gypsy is just such a standout track for me that it's like, like I said, if there's a single off this album, it's this, at least this Gypsy. So, and because Ronnie James Dio's Gypsy was also one of my favorite songs on the album, next to so anyways, I'm good with Gypsy.
I'm good with Gypsy. Yeah.
You knew, I knew, kind of.
I was waiting to see where you were gonna land on that one.
I really like Omens, and it's one I watched a couple performances of it live just for the start. I like it a lot.
Like I told you on the Dio one, man, I like to start off like listening to the songs live Then I'll do a run through, and then I'll do a run through and make my notes.
I've been doing it because you said that.
It
and I'm
helps
like, I want
so
to see it.
much.
Yeah, because you
I
kind of get
need a visual at first to
you
really
get a good
get
feel.
me going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Princess of Hell. First off, great title. Love the title of that song. Production stands out on this one. A lot of different stuff vocally. Harmonics on the guitars are great. I wish bands still recorded as a band. You can tell they are still vibing fresh off of a tour. Guitar slide towards the end is something we haven't heard yet. I like
Yeah.
don't when you're in the pick up the neck. I love that sound. Always have. Where am I at? Same record. Okay. The Possession. King really should have written a book. Abigail has been transferred into a graphic novel now, but his talents are easily transferred to a book. Just a thought. Would love to see this as an animated movie. More in the masterclass in metal drumming here from Mickey D. Those are my notes on the Possession.
This is the one that I noted Mickey D on too.
I mean, just something about it, like this part of the story is like it needs to be more. And I want to get the graphic novel actually, but I wish they would make a movie out of this.
It'd be cool, man.
It would be killer.
Welcome, Princess of Hell, rock and roll riffage on guitar and bass. Credit to Timmy Hansen for playing all this finger picked on bass. Apparently, he is a finger picked guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always dude. Steve Harris, one of my
I was gonna
say
my
favorite bassists.
Maiden.
Yeah,
you can hear it.
Finger picking ain't easy, especially when you're going fast. Love the chorus vocals. The like, I love that. It kind of takes you up and down. I like that feeling. And that's what I said was I like how the chorus vocals take you up and down vocally. This also has that hit/single vibe that keeps me interested. A fast rock song overall that King and the guys execute perfectly. And then the Possession, I really like this one because of those power chords in it. Love the crunch on the guitar, and I love that it has that bass intro. Even though it's just super short, but you get that. Also credit to the drummer Mickey D, known as Motorhead. The drums on this track hit me to mention him, and they hit you like a train. An awesome song to bang your head to. The tempo and groove make it impossible not to. King telling his story in Wailing as well. I always, it's kind of like my afterthought.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, King is front and center, you know, so it's not. And I'm always a guy who, when I listen to music, the first thing I hear is the instruments, and then the vocals always, they accent it for me, or they're, you know, it just depends on the vocals. Because there's some stuff I listen to and I'm like, I don't like the vocals, but the music is really cool.
Yeah.
The band, you know, not saying that's how King
for some reason
awesome.
I'm always like, I mean, obviously I listen to vocals because I was a singer at one point in time.
You're a vocal guy.
But the first thing usually I pick out is the bass. But it's that keeping time, those little nuances in a bass riff, that whatever it is,
usually like, in sync with the drums.
Yeah, right. Because it's the rhythm section. They're keeping time of the song, and then guitar playing is. And I love guitar, and I love, a good solo and all that stuff, but it's almost like guitar for me is an afterthought. Yeah. Whereas the rhythm section and the vocals are more what I'm attracted to in the song. But and not to say that I like I said, I love the sound of a guitar, but in process of breaking a song down, it's we all have
ways we listen to a song,
right? Everybody's different.
The way if you and I sat and listened to the same song and just wrote what we thought about it, kind of like this, we would both pick out different things, right? Absolutely. If it's like, what do you hear?
Yes. I know my pick.
So I like Welcome Princess to Hell, mostly the chorus vocal like that. I'm always a fan of vocals like that like up and down. But I'm a big fan of the Possession, and I have to go Possession. Cool. Me too. Cool. I have to go Possession. It's just so heavy, and the title's fucking cool. So is Welcome Princess to Hell, but the Possession. I mean, that's like. It's very metal,
This next one is an obvious one because Don't Break the Oath.
the
It's an instrumental.
Yeah.
To One Far Away. Cool acoustic, quote unquote, instrumental. There's humming with a faint falsetto in the background. That's really cool. I like that. Obviously, we love instrumentals. We do. But track versus track, it hurts it here. However, like the beginning of Abigail being an instrumental hurts it. Obviously, Dangerous Meeting is badass anyways, but
if it was a very strong like 5 minutes or
right,
4 minutes,
if it's like a
it could
maiden
compete.
instrumental,
Yeah, and Transylvania, yeah.
right. Beautiful guitar work here, not a skip, but just kind of there, you know. It's it's leading you into the last track, which I like that part of it. It's leading you in. That's a good, these are both two good places on records to put instrumentals at the very beginning and right before the last song, because you're like,
yeah,
we're about to go over the cliff here.
Yep.
And then Abigail, obviously it's the title track. It's King's probably most well-known song because this album is so popular.
It's the most well-known, I think, King Diamond there is.
The that he does in the throughout the song. Abigail is the brain and control, playing them like puppets. King's most well-known track, here it is. Vocally possibly the best on this record. You can feel the story winding down, or at least this chapter. Miriam gives birth to Abigail. She is back, you could say.
Abigail has returned. To One Far Away, the instrumental. It's the rival to Funeral, really. If they were in the same place, it'd be an easier comparison. Plucked guitar and leads that would make a great movie scene music. And that's not like, I'm not saying it in like a bad way, but I could just see it in a movie scene. Like it would
both
be good.
Both of these albums would be great movies, honestly.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. Abigail, this one takes you on an adventure. Mickey's crushing it on drums. Guitar riffs are all sweet and set the tone for the story and concept of Abigail. The ripping solo following the verses and choruses. Abigail is a ghost / mummy / demon. She is the Jill of all spirit trades.
I like that.
I was like the jack of all trades, but she's the Jill, you know?
Yeah. So obviously Abigail has to win because it's the actual song, and this is where it really picks up.
Yeah.
This is where you're getting, like I said, to at least the end of this chapter's coming to a close.
The climax of the story.
Yeah.
All right.
Abigail so takes got it. Where are we at?
Let's see.
I mean, I already know which one I'm picking out of the last two, so.
Looks like Don't Break the Oath only has 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Abigail.
So Abigail wins already by default, but just for sake of doing it.
Yeah.
Come to the Sabbath. I take back what I said earlier. This is my favorite track. Cool, catchy opening with the lyrics. Come to the Sabbath. It's
very
neat.
Understandable, very legible.
Opening with the lyrics, drum rolls, thick bass line paired with dueling guitars on this one. 2 candles, black and white, are placed on the altar. I love that line. I actually put cool fucking lyric. I didn't say I love that line. Come to the Sabbath. That part's cool. Love the tempo. Another incredible guitar solo. Another great track to end a record. We see that a lot with these albums that we're doing. The last tracks, sometimes by the end of a record, we're cashed out, we're done. But here in these that we're picking, I mean, some of the best work is on the last tracks. Underrated musicianship, if I could speak. Cool keyboard, then the drum kicks all over the place with that one. Bass again pumping in. You think it's over? Nope, not yet. Cool breakdown with more shining for the rhythm section. Love the You Are the One fade out. You are the one. That. And then Black Horseman, another acoustic intro, guitar squealing, baby Abigail was eating. We can only imagine what. Excellent breakdown, false finishes, love that. Cool track to take it home. Bass picks up at the end, welcome back. Dueling guitars and Mickey D's excellent drumming takes us out. While the lyrics are something unsettling, the musical journey this record takes you on is so good. Obviously, a more religious person would be mortified. But it's funny to ridicule a band. It's no different than watching something like The Exorcist. In fact, this art shouldn't be ridiculed at all and should be celebrated. Plain and simple, a masterpiece. This would be amazing to see live, and next US tour, I will be there.
Nice. This album, this made you a fan. I mean, you were, but
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. I like the way you put that. It is a good way to put Abigail, man. If you're following the music and you're following the lyrics, you are definitely like sucked into the story.
Yeah,
because it's telling a
you
really cool horror story.
You want to see where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like in a movie form. It's pretty freaky, man.
Yeah,
I mean, like I wouldn't, obviously, ghosts and demonic possession is the most terrifying thing to me.
For me, yeah.
This, yeah,
I hate ghosts.
Yeah, and this is what it's talking about, So, come to the Sabbath. I love that riff, man, and the dun 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 dun. It's just a lot of cool riffage. Anthony shouts of the title at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Come to the Sabbath.
Leads into the song's riffage, which is a very uppy feeling rock riff that I love. Chorus vocals pan left and right, which was a neat feature. That was
super
one
cool.
Little point in it. Yeah, it was very subtle. It happened like once.
I'm glad I had the earbuds in for that one, actually, because I was like, holy shit.
It goes back and forth, man. And I'm always a fan of a hard pan back and forth. That's cool as shit. Mid-song breakdown takes you to the signature solo, eerie synth and guitar, and King humming to the key / notes of the pattern. So it's all just kind of intertwined together, and it just makes this really cool sound towards the second part of the song. And then another rock riff comes to take us out, a variation on the one we were hearing.
Original riff, yeah.
Yeah. And then Black Horseman picked intro into the sound of the king. I don't know what that means, but maybe you do.
His vocals, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I meant.
Like,
I guess the picked intro brings you into that, I guess.
Yeah.
The song continues to progress as the 7 Black Horsemen arrive. After solo 1, it gets very horror, and then back to a new rock / metal groove as King wails in the back. Finishes strong with a solo. This one I was kind of... Black Horseman's a cool song, don't get me wrong, but I need like 5 more listens on it because it's just long. It's very... There's a lot going on.
This is the oath of Abigail. It's that long one where you're like, all right, are we done?
Progressing. Nope. Okay. And yeah. So, and I think I know where you're going with it. And I'm going in the same direction. Come to the Sabbath is a really cool fucking song. And that's also that gypsy, that solo.
And this is one that they do live, and
like all
it's very
towards the end of the
along.
Set.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's very, crowd participation type song.
Yeah. Come to the Sabbath.
This, honestly, I think this might have been the closest one we've done.
5/4. Yeah.
I think Kiss was 5/4 too. We're 9 trackers,
We are 9 trackers.
Every single record we've done, I think, has had 9 tracks.
8 or 9, yeah. Man, because as much as I'd love to do a 16-track album, it's too long. Yeah, it's time consuming. These are perfect. These little 8-9 track, 10,
30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah,
get in, get out.
An hour. You listen to both albums. You haven't figured out what you like better, and then you listen again to do the notes.
Honestly, going into this one though, like even taking my notes, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be tough. Like they're very similar, but they're very different.
Yeah.
So
they are.
It was a tough one, but Abigail moves on.
It is very similar and different in that Don't Break the Oath is that early King Diamond. It's same sound, but it's different. Yeah. And then Abigail just gets with King Diamond, it just gets like it gets heavier. It's Merciful Fate, but heavier.
Yeah.
And with the themes and all that, which
Mhm.
Merciful Fate has the themes, but
it's
it was a
more
fun listen.
of it's more of a just straightforward metal record as opposed to the concept album, which is always going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
But I noticed that we have been doing 9 tracks after I said that, to keep it fair throughout the tournament. It's kind of like it has, because if you have a 10-track album versus a 9-track album, the 10-track album is going to get one. I guess, I mean, technically we could, and then just if there's an instrumental, we could throw the instrumental out.
Yeah.
And just, push everything up.
Or if there's just one that's like, it's just not a good song, just toss it. We'll figure it out, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna have to happen.
It's gonna have to happen eventually,
especially as the rounds go.
Yeah, especially if we pick stuff from like 89 on. There, less and less records only had 9 tracks.
Yeah, 80s was very 8 and 9 tracks.
Yeah, because they were trying to fit everything in, and then as technology grew, like even like with Kiss's catalog, like their first album that had more than like 10 tracks was Hot in the Shade, and that was 89, and it had like 15, but like there were only 3 good songs on the album. So it's like, let's just see how much shit we can push out,
Well, and it's, the earlier in their career, they're probably doing 8 tracks because they had to pay for that studio tape time.
Right.
And so 8 tracks, you can bang out a lot faster than 15,
Right.
And that, that's true. When I look at my CD collection and everything, like early to mid 80s, I mean, it's mostly 8 to 10 songs.
Yeah.
And especially 70s. And there are some albums with a lot of songs.
Yeah.
They were probably well established, or they just had a shit ton of music.
But then and then like with the metal side of it, is a lot of them are only 8 to 9 songs because they're long.
They're longer.
They're a couple of longer songs, and then you got an instrumental that's like 1 to like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, let's get out.
And to the long song thing, I love long songs if it keeps me interested.
Right.
And none of these didn't, but Black Horseman it's on the longer side. I think it was like 7 minutes or something, and it just needs more listens, because that was the one track I didn't get to multiple times today.
Right.
So
yeah, that's that. Happens. It was a tough one, and it's also the last one. So that's why I'm almost
done.
Yeah, I did Abigail first today, just because I knew that Black Horseman was ending
the longer track. Yeah. So anyway,
however, though, when I got to Mercyful Fate, because I went on a journey and then came home and then finished up, but it was like when I got to the Oath, I was like, fuck, 7-minute song, and that's when I started texting you. I was like, okay, I'm going to be done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. An overall listen through the whole album. I honestly don't think I've ever done Abigail from front to back until we did this.
No, I think I'm with you. Yeah. And on Don't Break the Oath.
Yeah,
probably.
It was cool to do a full listen and see that story progress. And I need to start doing that more with his records as I dive further into it, because it's
a pretty big catalog, because you kind of combine, I mean, Mercyful Fate and King Diamond.
Yeah, I put them hand in hand, because only a couple players change throughout,
which is like one band anyway.
And Andy and Hank are very similar, and they're both and I mean, they both, they write the music for the bands respectively, and King writes the lyrics. And like we were saying, there's a Mercyful Fate and a King Diamond record coming out next year, and I know that the King record, I'm pretty sure it's further along. And the cool thing I learned about King is that he writes his lyrics on Post-it notes.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. So I'm like, it's like
he's a fascinating dude.
Yeah, he gets a line, writes it down, and then like I guess he posts it to each song, like as
on corkboard or something.
Sees how it goes. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, very interesting guy.
Maybe next year we'll have to do the new albums versus each other.
Ooh, that would be fun.
That'd be really cool because we'll have, a new tournament next year, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Who knows? Maybe just one long tournament next year.
Throughout the year, yeah, because that's kind of
Yeah.
what this is. I mean, we started a little late, but
Yeah.
we're catching up quick.
Yeah. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do.
Oh, next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure the tracks line up as best you can.
Yeah. Because there's been some that it's like 10 and 9.
I know. I
11
found a
and
couple and I was like,
10,
fuck,
and I'm like,
that's what I really wanted to do. And then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it doesn't line up.
so gotta figure that out. But
This was a fun one. It was different.
it was like the Dio one. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Not that the first 2 weren't, but I'm better. I'm feeling more in tune with this now.
Yeah.
The first 2 are kind of feeling it out.
Our musical minds mesh really well together. Like we play off each other well. We kind of know what each other's thinking.
Yeah.
So that helps.
We know what each other likes. And I know you're gonna have the vocals taken care of, so I don't have to worry about them too
Right.
much.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's just with the King one, it was a little tough because he's
it's out there. And it was hard for me
up there.
But I had to pull
there.
the lyrics up. I was like, I have to read along because I'm there. I mean, there was a couple that I was like, okay, that's obvious, but some of them it's like, and then he like when he goes into that growl, it's kind of hard to understand what he's saying too, not just the falsetto. His lows and highs are fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
He's crazy vocally.
He's the man. He's the man.
The man.
He's the big man.
The
He's actually a
makeup
little
man.
man, I think.
I think he's a shorter guy.
If he's Danish. As far as Danes go.
Not to be confused with a Great Dane.
Or or she's Danish.
Yeah. All right. Let's take her home.